Okay, so my goal was to take my Bauer planer and hook it up to my DeWalt shop vac. It'll slide over right now, but it's very loose. My idea is something like this, to make this adapter. It's hollow, of course. It goes inside the DeWalt and it goes inside the planer. Okay, so I want to make an adapter to go from my DeWalt shop vac to my Bauer planer. The inside diameters of both I have. DeWalt it's 1.550 and a planer it's 1.875. So knowing that, I'm going to come into QCAD. You could probably do this all, I'm sure you could, in FreeCAD, but I don't know it that well yet. So the first point I'm going to make on the x-axis is going to be half the diameter. So it's 0.775, and the y is going to be 0. That's going to be my first point. Now my next point, I'm going to keep it the same place in the x. So I'm going to do a relative, which is the at symbol, 0, comma, and then we're going to go up 1.5 inches. Okay, I'll right click to cancel that, and then I'll do zoom all, ZA. That's the line we got so far. This is from the origin, and that's very important because we're going to bring it into FreeCAD and do a revolve. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to offset that. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's draw a line. From here, we'll constrain it vertically. I know. First point we'll make 0, 0, so we get it right. And then we'll constrain it vertically with this command up to here. Now I'll do an offset command, which is this. And this will be the distance. This is going to be half of the other diameter, which is 0.938. So that's where it's going to go to. So now I also want to draw a line on an angle. So I'm going to go from here to there. And we're going to draw a line, cancel out of there, go back, draw a line from here to here. Now, I'm going to make this thing 3 inches long, so I'll do this command here. So offset command again. I use a few commands a lot, and offset's one of them. So that'll be there. That's where this is going to go to. Now, we can do a trim or an extend or whatever you're going to call it with RM from here, and that's the line we're going to keep. Now, I'm also going to trim this line. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to then get rid of this, D2. And this here, we don't need no more. This is going to be kind of the profile of what we're going for. Now get rid of that, and we can get rid of that. Now we'll do the offset command again, and I'll make the wall 1/16 of an inch thick. So there's that, there's that, there's that. Now I'll come down here, do a line command, join these ends, come up to the top, join these ends. Now I got to clean this up in here, and we'll use the RM command again. So you click on where your boundary is, and then you click on the line you want to keep. So right click will cancel that part of it, but it'll keep the command. Click on that, it gets rid of it. Right click, left click, bring it to there, right click, left click to select the boundary, and that. Okay, so that's it. That part of it's done. Now, this origin is important. That's why we did it this way. It looks a little kludgy, but this works well. We'll do File, we'll do Save As, we'll make it a DXF. I already did this one, so I know it works, but I'll call this 2 DXF. Save. Now, we'll bring up FreeCAD. In FreeCAD, what we're going to do is we're going to, when it comes up, we're going to jump into 2D draft. That's where you can bring in DXFs and then convert them over. Eventually, you're going to want to make a parametric part. So we'll bring up this. We'll do File, we'll do Import. We'll bring up the one we just made. We'll go with the defaults for now. We'll bring it in, you can see it there. Then we'll come over here to Layers, open that up, open up the 0, select all these lines. These are the commands from QCAD. Then we'll come up to here, which is Draft to Sketch. This is important. You click on that, it'll create a sketch. And then what we want to do, go through my notes, make sure I'm doing it right, because every now and then I do it wrong. We created a sketch, and then we'll jump into Part Design. This is where you design most of your parts. We'll come in there. And we'll come over to Model. Look at it, there it is. Okay, click on Unnamed at the top for now. And then we'll come back into Tasks, and we're going to create a body. That's important. Create the body. Now, we'll come back to Models. And then we're going to take this, and this is important too, drag this sketch under the body. That's important. Now, you can look at the sketch if you want. You can double click and it'll open the sketch. You could modify this if you need to. Click Close. And now we got to make sure that the sketch is selected. And then we'll come up here to Revolve. And there it is. Now, sometimes it'll jump off the screen. I've had that happen. I thought I was doing things wrong. It just jumped off the screen. Let's come up here to View, and we'll bring it all in. Now, you can rotate this around and see what it is. Now, you can modify this even further. I mean, you can put holes in it. You can do whatever you want once it's in the parts design. Now, we'll do File, and we'll do an Export. But you got to make sure you select the object. So select the body, File, Export, and then you'll give it a name. This one here I'll just call 3 for now. Save, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Okay, so I fired up ORCA Slicer here. I'm bringing the model. I'll let it do its orientation. Probably don't need this, but we'll do it anyway. And we'll bring it into the slicer and let it slice. Okay, so it's going to take an hour and 51 minutes, about less than 20 grams of filament. Going to the device, there's our device. I'll make it black. I don't think this part really matters though. Preview, come into print plate, pick the filament. I have 4 filaments, I'll just do it in black. Send it off to the printer. And there it goes, it's starting to print.